What is going on, gamers? Today I'd like to quickly talk about a couple of things. The first thing is your reliability in the game, and the second thing is the AI reliability in the game. Total War Rome 2 does a crap job at telling you anything, so hopefully this video will kind of help you out and just to kind of understand how the AI actually works. Start things off, we will look at our reliability rating. So we are currently steadfast right now, which is good, meaning we will pretty much have no problems doing any kind of diplomacy to people that are neutral or to like us. If this was to be a bit lower, so let's say we were trustworthy, which is yellow, you're less likely diplomacy will be able to happen. And then if you're unreliable, pretty much the only way to get around that is if you give a faction a ton of money, like I mean tens of thousands of gold. That's the only way to actually get around it, but it's in your best interest to stay in the green, especially on legendary. Also to keep in mind is if your reliability rating is in the yellow or even in the red, factions are more likely to declare war at you, or they will actually even join your enemies. To prove my point, let's take a look at Egypt here. So Egypt is happy with us in 49. So at 49 or around 50, it's usually like a non-aggression is usually like mid to high. Yeah, it's going to be a high success, so we can actually probably even get money out of it. So let's just see real quick. We're going to demand 500. Yeah, so even we could probably even do 1,000. Yeah, so you even have a chance of getting 1,000 gold with a non-aggression with Egypt. That's because we're reliable. Keep that in mind. So we are going to break our pacts or treaties with Athens. If you want to keep your reliability status the same, so steadfast, you have to wait 10 turns in order to break any treaties, because if you break any treaties within 10 turns, your reliability goes down, but we're just going to break everything. So we are now trustworthy, and we are untrustworthy, and we do have something else with Macedon here. Let's get rid of that. So we are unreliable. Now let's go try to do a diplomacy again with Egypt here. Probably not going to happen. Yeah, success low. Let's see if we even pay them a little bit of money. Let's see, about 800. Nope, not even happening. All right, let's try 4,000. Yeah, even with 4,000. So you can clearly see reliability status means everything in the game, especially on legendary. Now we're on to the AI reliability. So they have two different categories. They have the aggressiveness category and they have their reliability category. The aggressive category doesn't really matter because the AI kind of declares war whenever on whoever. So there are plenty of times where, let's say the Carnutes here, or however the hell you pronounce them, they will declare war on the Valkyrie, even though they are not even close. There is a few factions in between us, so you'd think they'd declare war on like the Namnites, for example, but the AI is pretty brain dead, so they'll just declare war just for the sake of declaring war. As for the AI reliability status, it doesn't really matter AI versus AI because the AI just is kind of brain dead and they kind of do whatever they want. Half the time when they declare war against another AI, they just kind of stand at the borders or stand by your borders and just wait there. When it comes down to the player, that's when it's a little bit different. Typically, you want to have an alliance with a reliable faction like Sparta, for an example, and if you're looking for a military victory, you'll have a lot less issues with diplomacy, but if you're going for a full map completion, that's when things get a little bit more trickier because of expansionism. So what expansionism is, basically as you take more settlements, your imperium level goes up, and what expansionism also does is gives a negative bonus, debuff, or whatever you want to call it to the other factions, which can actually go up to -100. So the only way to have a long-term alliance is to actually have another faction side with you and both you guys go to war with the exact same people, because that will improve your relationship together. Finally, I'd like to talk about how the AI will react based on your decisions. So this could happen in one of many cases and it's a little bit confusing, so I'll try to explain this in two different ways. Let's look at the Averni here. So the Averni doesn't like the Valkyrie doesn't like the Averni. So what we're going to do is we are going to declare war on the Averni here. Declare war. By declaring war on the Averni, the Valkyrie actually likes us a lot more. However, because we've done that, this faction up here, the Sequani, they like the Averni, so what they could do is that they could actually join the war with Averni against us. So by having many people at war with us will make us seem weaker. And also what could happen is there could be another faction just up here that we have not had any diplomacy with. They could actually join Sequani to attack me, or they could also just attack the Sequani because they're at war with me. Let's say if I was to move my armies up to the Averni and attack them, what could happen is that the Valkyrie could actually attack me, or these guys could attack me because my settlement is left undefended. If the Valkyrie was actually reliable, they would go after the Averni, but the AI is programmed to attack you when you're most vulnerable. Here's another way to look at it. So we have all our factions here which are unreliable. We have faction A, B, C, D, E, F, and U. Faction A hates faction B. So what you do is you declare war on faction B, therefore faction A now likes you. Faction C likes Faction B. So what happens since you and Faction A declared war on Faction B, Faction C now hates Faction A and you. You cannot see Faction D, but Faction C can see Faction D. So Faction D could either join war against Faction C or join war against you. But for the sake of this, we're going to have Faction D as neutral. Faction E and Faction F are still remaining. So you go and take out Faction B, but that leaves you open down here. So Faction E or Faction F can declare war on you to take your settlement here. Since Faction A is unreliable, they could attack you, or what Faction A could do is Faction A could attack Faction C, or Faction A could attack Faction F, or Faction A could attack Faction E. This can be done in 100 different ways, but the point of this is to show you how unreliable factions act. A actual reliable faction would break the trees, wait 10 turns, and then attack you, so they kind of give you a heads up, but a unreliable faction would just straight up just attack you. It is pretty hard to predict what the AI is thinking or what they're going to do, but the one thing to take away from this video is that trust no faction regardless of their reliability.